Welcome back, and today's opening has more value in it than I've opened up in a long time. So I'm just going to get to opening these up and talking about them, and a little bit of the state of the market. So my last few videos, I've talked about how the market has, well, previous to my last two videos, the market's been down, and the market is still down, and I'm talking the Magic market, right, across the board, in all areas, singles, Power 9, vintage boxes, modern boxes, all the above, is all down. So it makes it a great time to buy. Problem is that people have not been selling. They don't want to take their huge losses. They're putting things aside and waiting their 5 to 10 years till they have a profit. And this makes it hard for purchasers like me to get everything they want for their collection, etc. And nobody's really been buying or selling. Now, that has changed recently. Oh yeah, this is a high value item. Let me just get a little shipping label out of here so I don't have to edit my video. And people are starting to sell again. First off, prices are starting to eke their way back up. I think I mentioned that in my last few videos. They've been eking their way back up, and they seem like they're sustaining for a bit. It's hard to tell. Sometimes the market has their little rebounds, and just like the stock market, a little rebound that sustains itself for a little bit, drops right back down again. We've seen a lot of that with how the Fed has been announcing different things, etc. And the same thing happens with Magic, just naturally. A lot of it is around how people are feeling, right, regarding all the Magic 30th stuff, all the reports on YouTube, all the fireside chat stuff, the negativity, everything kind of plays into if people are interested right now in it. I mean, at the end of the day, what mostly impacts it is, do people have spare money right now? And the answer is no. There are more, layoffs happening, people don't have all their money that's been exploding in crypto or other assets or the stock market, so they don't have as much disposable income to put in on Magic. So some of them over leveraged and are now selling at a loss. Those that can't sustain and do not have the liquidity to survive, and other ones are holding on to their stuff. So there is less overall. I don't know always the backstory into every purchase that I make. I hope the people I'm purchasing from are doing okay. But at the very least, I have not gone all in, right, on Magic. Never go all in. What was it? Rudy had a video about buyouts of buying 200 cards of the same in order to do a buyout of a reserved list item. Doing things like that seem risky to me, and if you need the money at any point, like say it goes down and then you can't survive and hold on to that for the market to come back up, you're doing it wrong. You need to have cash on the side to be able to wait things out. And so I also have cash to deploy, and I will deploy them in boxes like this. So I have opened this up on camera before. Obviously not this exact box. This is kind of well dug in there, so I gotta come around the camera. I don't want to damage it. Here, let me get this out of the way. And I can deploy it into expensive vintage boxes. So this is another 4 Horsemen box. Really the only one that I can afford. There we go. And it is a box of the Dark. Alright. Not as good of condition as the last one that I had bought. You'll see there's some bulging there happening. Seal's fine and intact. The front looks pretty good. Sides all look good there. Top looks pretty good. There's a small tear happening right there. I mean, this box is so old that honestly getting something in this good a condition is pretty hard to begin with. The last box I had was I'd never seen a Dark box that good. It was the first one I ever purchased, the last one. So check out my video on that. If I remember, I'll put a link in the description. I'll put a link up above in the video. But yeah, so this is a good condition. You know, some damage to it. The Dark booster box, and it's one of the Four Horsemen, one of the sets that original expansion sets, along with the whole Arabian Nights, Antiquities, and Legends. Those three are out of reach pretty much. Who knows? Maybe someday, if I keep on doing this long enough, I'll have enough money to be able to put down on a Legends box. That would probably be the next one I would go for. I started expanding into Legends booster packs and Antiquities booster packs. I do think those are another good place, a more affordable place to be putting money in. I've yet to buy a pack of the Dark other than Italian the Dark, which was in my last video. But this is my second booster box of it. I like the boxes better. Again, especially for these wax packs that have the clear seal to it. I'm looking around if I have a pack near me. Yeah, I do. These, like Antiquities here, we got these, anyone that has the white top and white bottom, you can technically search these packs to know what cards are in them. So that loses value on the fact that if you don't know its history, it's called its provenance. If you don't know where it came from, you can't guarantee that it hasn't been searched and then sold after finding out there's a bad card inside. So they do have extra value coming in these booster boxes, let alone, Rudy always shouts about this too, and it's true. The fact that there are so few sealed booster boxes around of this old product, people always open them up. It's rare to have new inbox. And that gives you a premium, let alone the fact that the insides can't be searched. These are good staples. Again, these are like your A to S tier of your collectibles in Magic. This happens to be a pretty pricey one. They're not quite this expensive anymore, but they were going for over 10 grand earlier this year. There's one item. But, like I said, if you can find them, now is a good time to buy. I think it will take a while for the market to come back up. We don't have the bubble, I don't think, coming right back from 2020 and 2021. So, again, these are products you will probably sit on for a while. But I do think they will outperform the stock market. Pure speculation. No, not financial advice. Let me get this address out of the way. All right, we have, like mint green packing peanuts. Great for Christmas, I guess. The easiest way, I can dig in. All right. So here we have another box, well packaged. And let me cut into here. I can just pull it out. Don't want to be too harsh on pulling it out because it should be in pretty good condition. I don't want to damage that condition. All right. We have a Rise of the Eldrazi booster box. Now, some booster boxes seem to be harder to find, even though they're not as expensive of price, right? Like the Dark is hard to find and it's expensive because it's really hard to find. Really old, really rare. Rise of the Eldrazi is pretty expensive and rare to find, but not anywhere near the order of what the Dark is or any of those older boxes. Rise of the Eldrazi, just sometimes boxes elude you. Like, I don't know if just my value of what I offer for Rise of the Eldrazi boxes maybe was just too low. Boxes like this and like another box. So I've owned other Rise of the Eldrazi. I think this is my second box I ever owned. But boxes like Innistrad, like original Innistrad, I cannot get for what I would consider a reasonable price. Which maybe just means my price is too low compared to what the market wants for it, and I don't see. I don't know, I'm kind of waiting for it to go lower, I guess. Like, I'm not going to overpay for boxes, given I spend so much on Magic as it is to begin with. But if I did buy it, let's put it this way, at the prices that I would need to acquire a box of Innistrad, original Innistrad, I don't see myself getting even like a, 10% return over the next several years. And so, like, while I love to just have the box for my collection, and it does bother me when I can't get a particular box, I buy multiples of boxes before I will put money or bad money in on a box, right? I'll take my time and acquire them over the course of years. And at some point, original Innistrad, I'll feel like I get at a reasonable enough price and that it'll be cheap when I buy it and will grow over time. But I have not been able to find what I would consider a good deal for that box. I'm trying to think if there's other boxes like that. Though Rise of the Eldrazi and Innistrad were the two that kind of stick out in my mind. Mercadian Masks was hard for a while, but those have come down in price more recently. I've opened a few on camera. Which is interesting because Mercadian Masks is known to be like one of the worst sets of history, right? Like, it came right after Urza's Saga, so I'm not okay. The Urza's block, right, with Saga, Legacy, Destiny. So it came right after that, and that was the best block of all time. And then Mercadian Masks was the starting set of the next block, and I just think it paled in comparison to the power level of the previous block. So with that, it is looked down upon, but it is overall still lower powered than everything after it. You had your Invasion, your Odyssey after that. Those are better sets. But a lot of times it's your items that are less powerful and less purchased, right? If they really do print to demand, those will be harder to find and worth more. In fact, I would say that's the case for Mercadian Masks. Those boxes are worth more than Invasion and Odyssey because they're harder to find. Now, I would rather probably put my money in Invasion or Odyssey before Mercadian Masks because the Invasion and Odyssey are easier to sell more quickly. So I would be willing to pay more upfront for those boxes, knowing that my hold time on them is shorter, right? These are the kind of things you need to take into account. There is a time value of money. So if you haven't studied this at all, look this up on Google, the time value of money. It's the whole point of if you're putting away items into boxes and they sit around for 5 to 10 years, that's 5 to 10 years that money is not in the stock market. Now, that doesn't mean that it's bad to wrap up money in boxes because these boxes will also appreciate over time. You have to believe that if you're doing this, right? Not only do you need to love it, but if you're going to be putting significant amounts of money into it, you do have to believe it, and quite frankly, history shows that that's what happens. Now, do I think Magic will live forever? No. So I do think it is a collectible that you do not want to hold on to forever, right? But I do think the 5 to 10 years mark makes sense. There are collectibles out there that you can hold on to forever. So rare art, historical artifacts. There's a YouTuber, what's his name? Antiques and Collectibles. I'll have to look it up. Maybe I'll put the name down below in the description. But he covers a lot of different classifications of collectibles versus like speculative assets. And the historical collectibles like coins, historical documents, art, things like that have stood the test of time for more than 30 years. But I would say among the speculative class, Magic is perhaps the most stable and well documented in recent history. 30 years is nothing compared to the hundreds of years that historical documents and coins have and art has and things like that. But I don't have a passion for that stuff. I have a passion for Magic. So, and I assume a lot of you out there are similar in your passion. Don't spend time doing something you don't enjoy. It doesn't make any sense. So I think that's going to wrap it up today. like I said, the market's coming around, and I do have a lot more purchases coming of high value that are coming in the mail. So stay tuned, and you'll be seeing more, expensive box openings coming up. Thanks, everyone. Bye bye.